We all learn how to survive pain before we learn how to understand it. And survival doesn't always look brave. Sometimes it looks like smiling when you want to cry. Sometimes it looks like saying I'm fine when your soul is breaking. Sometimes it looks like working too hard, loving too much, or giving yourself away. Just so you don't have to feel the emptiness echoing inside your chest. When I was younger, I thought strength meant not needing help. I thought numbing was healing because it stopped the pain. But now I know numbing doesn't heal. It only delays. We numb in different ways through endless scrolling, loud music, overworking, overeating, undereating, through relationships that keep us distracted, or through isolation that keeps us safe. We build walls and call them boundaries when really they're prisons made of fear. Psychologists call this avoidance. Coping is subconscious, defense that protects the brain from emotional overload. When we experience pain and can't process it, our prefrontal cortex, the logical part of the brain, disconnects. In our limbic system, the emotional brain takes over. To protect us, the brain learns to avoid the source of pain altogether. The problem is avoidance might save us short-term, but it costs us long-term peace. For years I kept busy, always chasing something: success, approval, perfection. If I wasn't productive, I felt worthless. If I slowed down, the silence was too loud. It took me a long time to understand that I wasn't addicted to doing. I was addicted to escaping. Every time I avoided a painful memory, I reinforced the belief that I couldn't handle it. And the more I avoided, the smaller my emotional world became. This is how trauma traps you. It convinces you that feeling is dangerous, so you learn to live disconnected. From others, from love, and from yourself. But your body always remembers. It keeps whispering through fatigue, anxiety, or random bursts of sadness. It's not weakness, it's a message. The nervous system, when stuck in long-term stress, stays trapped between survival modes, constantly oscillating between hyperarousal anxiety and collapse numbness. That's why so many people say, I don't even know what I feel anymore, because they've spent years not feeling. There's a quote by Carl Jung that says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That was me." I kept attracting situations that mirrored my old wounds, unavailable people, work environments where I had to prove my worth, moments where I felt unseen all over again. It wasn't the world punishing me, it was my unhealed pain trying to be seen. You see, the mind repeats what's unresolved, not because it's cruel, but because it's trying to complete the story, to give you a new ending, to say you're safe now. You can respond differently this time. The hardest truth I learned was this: healing doesn't start when life becomes easy. It starts when you stop running from your triggers and start listening to what they're trying to teach you. Every trigger is an old wound asking for your attention. When you feel rejected, it's your inner child whispering, "Please don't leave me again." When you feel anger, it's your boundaries saying, "I deserve better than that." When you feel numb, it's your nervous system saying, "I've carried too much for too long. At one point, I realized I was addicted to emotional pain itself. I wasn't chasing peace. I was chasing familiar chaos because peace felt foreign. Psychologists call this trauma bonding or homeostasis. The brain seeks what's familiar, even if what's familiar is unhealthy. Because the mind isn't looking for joy, it's looking for safety. And for those of us who grew up around unpredictability, pain was safety. It was what we knew. That's why healing can feel uncomfortable at first. You're breaking the emotional pattern your nervous system once depended on. There's a moment in healing when everything feels worse before it feels better. That's when most people give up. They think the pain means they're breaking down. But in reality, the pain means the walls are coming down. When you stop numbing, your emotions flood back: grief, anger, sadness, guilt. It feels overwhelming because for the first time, you're actually feeling what you've avoided for years. This process is called emotional reprocessing. The brain finally bringing repressed memories into awareness so they can integrate into your conscious story. And when you stay present through that discomfort, something miraculous happens. Your mind learns that it can handle pain safely. You're no longer a prisoner of avoidance. You're the witness of your own transformation. Healing isn't linear. You'll fall back into numbing sometimes. You'll scroll too long, cry too much, and feel like you're starting over. But you're not. Every time you become aware, every time you pause before running, you're rewiring your brain. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity your brain's ability to form new pathways. Every time you choose awareness over avoidance, you strengthen the circuits of emotional resilience. Now I understand why I used to chase distractions. I wasn't weak, I was protecting myself. The body and mind do whatever they must to survive. But once survival is no longer needed, it's safe to learn a new way of being. So I started small. I practiced sitting in silence for 5 minutes a day. At first it felt unbearable, like the air itself was too heavy. But slowly something shifted. My heartbeat slowed, my body softened, my breath deepened. And in that stillness, I realized I wasn't afraid of silence. I was afraid of meeting myself in it. That was the moment I understood healing begins where avoidance ends. We can't numb pain and feel joy at the same time. The walls that keep the pain out also keep the love out. So I started letting the walls crack one breath at a time.